Welcome to Chicago Public Library's Harold Washington Library Center, one of 81 branches within the city of Chicago. On the first floor of this branch, we have the CPL YouMedia Center. This is a space specifically for high school patrons to come and hang out, create, learn, and make friends. While many branches throughout the system have a YouMedia space, Harold Washington's is the largest. And when you first walk in, there is a sign-in space so that the librarians can keep track of numbers of how many teens come in every day. They also display a lot of flyers for events, opportunities, scholarships, that sort of thing there. On the other side of their circulation desk, they have a 3D printing station, which I think is so cool. They have 2 3D printers, although one is out of order at the moment. They also have supplies for crafts like jewelry making. They have extra filament, all of that stored there. A really cool affirmations wall surrounded by a bunch of other makerspace equipment. And then right next to that, they have a board where they put up more opportunities, scholarships, internships, flyers for all sorts of things like that, as well as like store art that is waiting to be picked up by teen patrons who come to the space. They make all sorts of really cool displays here. Here they have a Celebrate 50 Years of Hip Hop display, including art and books about the topic of hip hop. And then this leads right over to where they have their open mic space. So they host open mic programs pretty frequently here at this library. People can come in and play music, do spoken word poetry, really anything. It's really great. There's also a photography corner there as well. Now, this is their book collection. They have the largest teen book collection in the system. Because they're the biggest space, they obviously have more space for their collection. They also have nearly double the budget of the rest of the branches in the system. They have multiple shelves for, this is just their fiction, the young adult fiction. It kind of wraps around here, comes out to more shelves. It just keeps going. It's a really large collection. And most of the titles are sent between branches as well. So since they have such a large collection, there are a lot of titles they have that other branches don't have. But that's okay because people at those branches can request those titles and they can be sent from Harold Washington to, let's say, Woodson branch or the Lincoln Park branch, which is where I currently work, actually. So even though it's all central to the Harold Washington branch, these books are still available for anyone in the system to use. They also have a really impressive manga collection. They've got 3 large shelves just full of manga titles. And again, these are sent between branches. So while they are located here at Harold Washington, they are available to patrons throughout the system. So even though they're titles that may not be available at, say, the Humboldt Park branch, Humboldt Park patrons can still check them out by requesting to have them sent to their branch. They're just stored here at Harold Washington. Their graphic novel collection is also really impressive as well. I really appreciate that they have their graphic novels separated from the adult graphic novels. Not all branches do that. Sometimes they are interfiled together. And then they have this really cute little nonfiction section as well. They have a really decent-sized teen nonfiction collection. It seems to be very well curated to just be stuff that would actually appeal to teens rather than having random nonfiction just to have nonfiction. There are also quite a few magazines available for teens to read in the space or check out as well. Now, this corner over here is the fiber arts section where they have all sorts of fabric and sewing machines for teens to use free of charge. They can come in and design and create whatever they want. They have access to embroidery tools, knitting, really any sort of like fiber arts can be found in this corner. And like I said before, everything is free to use. Teens don't have to pay to use materials or tools such as the sewing machines. They can come in and create whatever they want. They do have to complete a sewing certification class first, but it's very short. On this corner, we have the arts section, everything from traditional art to digital art. So they have access to this section right here just to create digital art if that's what they're interested in. But there's also all sorts of supplies to create more traditional like pen and paper art. So there's paper, paints, colored pencils, glue, supplies to make things like collages, all sorts of these really cool lockers. It's just pretty much any art supplies you can think of is there. And if art isn't your thing, that's cool. They also have plenty of video game options as well. There is a station to play with the Nintendo Switch. There's VR, PlayStation, just all sorts of things so that there really is something for everyone there. And over here is a live stream and esports recording area. There is a certification requirement to use the live streaming equipment, but they do offer that every week. And then here is the sound recording studio. Fun fact, Chance the Rapper actually recorded most of his first mixtape there. And then here there are some computers out for teens to use, so they don't have to use the adult computers in the rest of the library. There are also lots of protest banners displayed around the library. These are available to check out from the protest banner lending library. Any of the teens who plan to go to protest can just come up and request to check out whatever banner they find fits what they are fighting for, which I think is really cool, and it's a really great way to encourage teens in the community to really get involved with their community. They also occasionally hold protest banner making workshops as programs within both this YouMedia space and in other YouMedia spaces throughout the system. And then finally, right outside of the YouMedia space, there is artwork displayed in the hallway. All of this artwork is submissions to the 2022 Teen Winter Challenge. The Teen Winter Challenge generally takes place between December and March of every year. And everyone who submits work gets their art put on display or in a magazine that is made every year of all of the submissions. They also give away really great prizes to the winners, including free art supplies. And it just gives teens a space to really show off their work that they're proud of. After performing this walkthrough, I've come to the conclusion that this is a very well-loved and well-maintained space that teens actually do use daily. It is very functional. It has tables that can be used as a meeting space or study space. There's plenty of opportunities to learn and to gain inspiration from both what other people have done in the space and outside inspiration, such as the murals done by artists from outside of the library. And then, of course, there is that performance space both up front with the open mic area and with the sound studio and video streaming space. There's plenty of evidence to show that the teens in this community do use the space, both from artwork that has been created by them and photographic evidence that they have been in the space. I believe that Chicago Public Library's YouMedia, especially the Harold Washington location, has very nearly perfected the teen space. They have a little bit of something for everyone without it being overwhelming. There are plenty of options, and everything is very well spaced out, so it also doesn't seem too crowded when the teens are in the space. There aren't really many changes I would recommend they make to this space. They seem to have really figured out what works for their community. The main thing that I think could use some rethinking is the location of their bookshelves. They are in the back corner, would require anyone who's looking for those materials to completely cross the room. which isn't a big deal, except that would mean adults who are looking for teen materials would have to walk through the entire space, which could make things uncomfortable for teens. Other than that, though, I think they've really worked everything out really well, and it's a great space. Thanks for visiting the Harold Washington Library Center YouMedia space with me. I hope you enjoyed the tour.